What happened between Brigitte Macron and Queen Camilla? Everyone is discussing this extraordinary situation. Let's look into this issue too. Brigitte Macron made something of a gaffe today when she tried to hold hands with a reluctant Queen Camilla. The misunderstanding occurred when the Queen and Mrs Macron laid flowers at the British Normandy Memorial in Vers-sur-Mer. Once they had laid the flowers, they stepped back slightly to reflect for a moment, and the First Lady reached out to the Queen, but at this time, Camilla may have been reluctant to extend her hand back. After Ms. Macron lightly squeezed Queen Camilla's hand, she then released it, and they both stood side by side in front of the memorial. While her gesture was undoubtedly made with the best of intentions, tactile communication with members of the royal family is always a sensitive topic that many try to avoid, but still can't always avoid it. What have we witnessed? Carelessness, an accident, or a hint of a true relationship to each other? However, according to the royal family website, when meeting the Queen or a member of the royal family, there are no mandatory rules of conduct, but there is an unwritten rule that one should not go beyond a handshake. Rules are rules. While younger royals such as Prince William and the Princess of Wales are known for being more relaxed and cuddly, the older generation follows the example of the late Queen, who was not very tactile with members of the public. President Emmanuel Macron also kept the King and Queen waiting when he was 20 minutes late for the showpiece D-Day commemoration ceremony. Members of the royal family were already sitting and waiting on Thursday morning when the French head of state finally arrived at the event, honoring the 80-year-old anniversary of the British Normandy Memorial in Vers-sur-Mer. King Charles and Queen Camilla did not comment on the behavior of Mr. Macron, who was accompanied by his wife, Brigitte Macron. But the French media noticed what happened, and it was widely reported. Television news agency News wrote, "Although the King and Queen of England had already been installed, Emmanuel Macron and his wife were 20 minutes late for the Franco-British ceremony, shocking the British. Accident? Or a subtle hint? But for what? I'm interested in your opinion." And we continue. On Tuesday, Macron was almost an hour late when he showed up at the first D-Day celebrations in Plumelec, Brittany. There was no comment from the Élysée Palace about the president's lateness or Brigitte's attempt to take the Queen's hand. The First Lady followed in the footsteps of Hollywood star Tom Cruise, who extended his hand to Kate Middleton to help her up a small step at the premiere of Top Gun, Maverick, in May 2022. He followed the example of his compatriots who raised eyebrows over their touchiness, including Michelle Obama, who famously hugged the late Queen, and LeBron James, who did the same with Kate. One of the most famous tactile moments occurred during a meeting between the Queen and then First Lady Michelle Obama at Buckingham Palace. The Obamas visited Her Majesty in April 2009 when she hugged the monarch, who reciprocated her affection, and hugged the First Lady. While the incident raised eyebrows at the time, reflecting on the interaction 10 years later, during a promotional event for her memoir in London in 2019, Michelle Obama said it was a natural human reaction. What's true among world leaders is that there are people who follow protocol, and usually the people they represent don't want all that protocol. So you're wondering, well, who are you doing this for? Because they don't want it, we don't want it. She added that during her subsequent visit to Windsor Castle, the monarch called royal protocol garbage. Her husband's White House successor, Donald Trump, later raised eyebrows by patting the Queen on the shoulder as she stood to toast him during a state banquet in June 2019. As the monarch stood up with a glass of Windsor Great Park sparkling English wine, the president extended his left hand and placed it behind her right shoulder, as if patting it. Yet this is the awkward moment Brigitte Macron tries to hold hands with Queen Camilla at the D-Day memorial, after the French president kept the royals waiting by 20 minutes late. Although the term protocol is widely used, it is considered extremely poor manners to touch a member of the royal family in such a formal setting. The Queen did not react and continued to play the role of a gracious hostess. Another notable moment occurred in 2014 when Kate Middleton and Prince William met Cleveland Cavaliers basketball player LeBron James in New York after a game with the Brooklyn Nets. As the trio posed for a photo, the athlete hugged the Duchess with a raised eyebrow, which attracted a lot of attention. Speaking to Mail Online about the tactile moment, etiquette expert William Hanson said, "While I'm sure the Duchess of Cambridge wouldn't worry about it, Mr. James shouldn't have hugged her. Americans are much more tactile than the British, and this is another example of an American being too easy and casual with the British royal family." However, the Cambridges didn't seem bothered by this and were seen laughing and joking with LeBron throughout their interaction. What do you think about these situations? Could it be easier for everyone, or should you still observe the etiquette prescribed by the rules? Let's start the discussion in the comments to this video. We'll see you there. Tom Quinn, a royal expert, said Prince Harry contacted Catherine after leaving the UK. He called to try to improve relations. Since leaving the UK, Harry has actually reached out to at least one royal, Kate. She certainly sympathizes with him, but she fully supports her husband and, struggling with her own health problems, has no intention of playing peacemaker. Recently, according to some sources, Harry has been seeking to restore relations with the royal family. This is extremely important for him. He needs financial support and royal privileges. He is confident that Catherine can become the decisive factor that will persuade William to take a step towards reconciliation with the Sussexes. Unfortunately, his calculations turned out to be wrong. At the moment, Catherine is not thinking about him or any showdown. She craves only peace and harmony, without stress and nerves. If the conversation took place with Kate, it was extremely brief and polite, without touching on any serious topics. Information from an anonymous friend of the princess claims that all of Harry's attempts at reconciliation are fiction. Catherine does not want to have any communication with him or hear about his wife. Meeting Harry is the last thing William or Catherine want or need at the moment. This isn't about an apology or who said what. It's about protecting his family. Kate is recovering from her illness, and they are trying to avoid stressful situations. At the same time, the insider denied all rumors about the king's invitation to visit Balmoral in the summer. The idea that Harry and his family might be visiting Balmoral this summer is wishful thinking, and yet, it looks very sad. This has cast doubt on the Telegraph's Petronella Wyatt, who said last week that Charles would like to mend fences with Harry, but is being hampered by William's hostility. Also, the relationship between Harry and the king was tense, in particular due to the Duke's critical and harsh remarks about Camilla.